wife. I knew which side of the bed she liked, which coffee she ordered, and how she smiled whenever I talked about our future. I had built my life around that future. That evening, we sat at a formal dinner with Sophia's father, Marcus, and several family friends. I thought the dinner was about our wedding plans. Sophia suddenly stood. "Everyone, I have an announcement." I looked up at her. "An announcement?" She avoided my eyes for 1 second, then smiled. "I'm not marrying Ethan." My fingers went cold around my glass. "What?" Sophia finally looked at me. There was no apology in her face. "I've made my decision," she said. "Our engagement is over." I stared at her. "Sophia, what are you talking about? We discussed the wedding yesterday." "I changed my mind." "You changed your mind?" "Yes." I gave a nervous laugh because I honestly thought this had to be some terrible joke. "You can't be serious." "I am." Marcus cleared his throat. "Ethan, let her speak." I turned toward him. "Mr. Bennett, you knew about this?" He did not answer immediately. Sophia reached across the table and placed her hand beside another man's. "This is Ryan Blake." Ryan stood and gave me a calm smile. "I'm sorry you had to hear it like this." I looked at his hand beneath Sophia's. "Are you two together?" Sophia answered before Ryan could. "Yes." The room became painfully quiet. I looked back at Sophia. "When did this happen?" "Recently." "How recently?" She sighed. "Does the exact date matter?" "It matters to me," Ryan said. "Ethan, I never wanted to hurt you." I looked at him. "Then why are you sitting beside my fiancée?" Sophia frowned. "Stop calling me your fiancée." That sentence hurt more than I expected. I swallowed. "After 5 years?" "Yes." "After everything?" "I appreciate everything you did." "Appreciate?" I almost laughed. "I worked 2 jobs when we first started dating. I saved for our wedding. I turned down opportunities because you wanted me nearby. I kept that apartment because you said it felt like home." Sophia's expression barely changed. "You chose those things because I loved you. And I loved you too. Then why are you doing this?" She looked toward Ryan. "Because I realized love isn't enough." I stared at her. "What does he have that I don't?" Sophia hesitated. "Ryan can give me the future I want." "What future?" "A better one." Ryan quietly said, "Sophia." "No," I said. "Let her finish." Sophia lifted her chin. "Ryan has connections. He understands business. His family has investments across the country. I don't want to struggle anymore." I felt something inside me collapse. "So that's what I am? A struggle?" "That isn't what I said." "You didn't have to." Marcus finally spoke. "Ethan, you should understand Sophia's position." I turned toward him. "You agree with her?" "I want the best for my daughter. I thought I was part of this family." Marcus shook his head. "You were a good boyfriend. That doesn't mean you are the right husband." I looked around the table. Nobody defended me. I returned my eyes to Sophia. "Was I ever enough for you?" She was silent. That silence answered me. I stood slowly. "Ethan, sit down," Sophia said. "No. Please don't make this dramatic." I looked at her in disbelief. "I'm not making anything dramatic. You announced that you're marrying another man while I was sitting beside you." Ryan stepped forward. "I'll take care of her." I looked directly at him. "I believe you." Sophia's eyes narrowed. "You're not going to fight for me?" For 5 years, I had imagined begging her never to leave. But tonight, I finally understood that begging would only make me smaller. I picked up my coat. "No." She stared at me. "You're just leaving?" I opened the door. "You already made your choice." Marcus said, "Ethan, think carefully." I looked back once. I have been thinking about Sophia for 5 years. Tonight, I'm finally thinking about myself. Then I walked out. My heart was broken, but I did not ask her to follow me. Outside, the night air felt cold. I stood and stared at the restaurant doors. My phone buzzed that night. It was Sophia. "Where are you?" I typed, "Going home." Her reply came. "Can we talk tomorrow?" I looked at the message. I would have answered immediately. Tonight, I turned off my screen. I walked toward my car. I had spent years proving I could build a life worthy of Sophia. I had forgotten to ask whether she was worthy. I did not feel like her abandoned fiancé. My rival makes an impossible offer. The next morning, I walked into the office expecting another fight with Claire. Claire Bennett was my biggest professional rival. For 3 years, we had fought over clients, contracts, and every major opportunity in our industry. She had beaten me more times than I wanted to admit. I found her standing beside my desk. "You look terrible," she said. "Good morning to you too. Did you sleep?" "No." "Because of Sophia?" I froze. "How do you know?" Everyone knows. I dropped my briefcase onto the desk. I don't want to discuss her. Claire crossed her arms. Then what are you going to do? Nothing. She blinked. Nothing. I'm done begging. For the first time that morning, Claire smiled. That is the first intelligent thing I've heard from you in years. I frowned. Thanks. You spent 5 years chasing a woman who clearly didn't value you. You don't know what happened. I know enough. I looked away. She chose someone else. And I'm accepting it. Claire studied me. Finally, I sat down. I don't need your approval. You don't have it. Then why are you here? She pulled out a chair and sat opposite me. Because I have problems of my own. I raised an eyebrow. Since when does Claire Bennett admit she has problems? Since my family decided my company needs a wedding. I stared at her. What? My grandfather wants me to marry Daniel Hart. The politician's son? Yes. I leaned back. That's not a marriage. That's a business deal. Exactly. Then refuse. I tried. And my family controls part of the company. If I refuse, they can block the expansion. I was surprised. You're serious. Unfortunately. I looked at her. So what are you going to do? She sighed. I don't know. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then Claire suddenly smiled. If you need a wife and I need a husband, maybe we should solve both problems. I laughed. You're joking. Obviously. Good. She stood. I said maybe. I stopped laughing. Wait. You're serious? Claire looked directly at me. I could be. Claire, you're my rival. I know. We can't stand each other. I know that too. You want to marry me? I want a solution. I shook my head. This is insane. Probably. You're asking me to marry someone I have spent years competing against. And you're considering it. No, I'm not. Then why haven't you left? I opened my mouth, but had no answer. My phone suddenly rang. Sophia. I stared at the screen. Claire noticed. Answer it. I don't want to. Then don't. I answered anyway. Hello. Sophia's voice was soft. Ethan, I wanted to talk. About what? My wedding. My chest tightened. What about it? I hope you'll come. I said nothing. As a friend, she added. A friend. After 5 years. After everything. I closed my eyes. Why would I attend your wedding? Because I still care about you. If you cared, you wouldn't have replaced me. That isn't fair. I laughed quietly. Neither was what you did. Ethan, please. No. There was silence. Then Sophia whispered. I thought you'd understand. I understand perfectly. I ended the call. Claire watched me carefully. What did she want? She wants me at her wedding. As a friend. Yes. Claire's expression hardened. And what did you say? No. Good. I looked at the phone in my hand. Something inside me had finally broken. Not my heart. Something deeper. The part of me that still hoped Sophia would change her mind. I stood. Claire. Yes. You said your family needs you married. Yes. And you need someone who won't interfere with your business. Yes. I took a slow breath. Do you still need a husband? Claire stared at me. You're serious? Yes. Yesterday you called the idea insane. It is. Then why ask? I looked toward the window. Because yesterday I was still trying to save my old life. I turned back to her. Today, I think I need to build a new one. Claire remained silent. Then she smiled. Ethan, if we do this, there are rules. I expected that. No emotions. Fine. No interfering with each other's work. Agreed. No pretending this is real. I nodded. Agreed. She extended her hand. 1 year. I shook it. 1 year. Neither of us knew what we had just started. But for the marriage agreement. I met Claire in her office the next morning. She had already prepared a contract and placed it between us. You actually came back. I said I would. Yesterday, you looked ready to disappear. I changed my mind. Claire leaned back. About the marriage? About letting Sophia decide what happens to me. She smiled. Good. I picked up the contract. What are these? Rules. Of course. She pointed to the first page. No fake affection when we are alone. Agreed. Second, we don't control each other's lives. Agreed. Third, we don't ask about past relationships. I paused. Why? Because I don't want your history becoming my problem. That makes sense. Fourth, she continued, no falling in love. I laughed. That won't be difficult. Claire raised an eyebrow. Confident. We've spent years trying to beat each other. True. I signed the first page. She watched me carefully. You're really doing this. I need a clean break. From Sophia? From the version of myself who kept waiting for her. Claire became quiet. Then she signed. This protects my company. And protects me from another heartbreak. She looked at me. You think marriage can protect you from heartbreak? No. But rules can stop me from making the same mistake twice. My friend Daniel nearly dropped his coffee when I told him. You're marrying Claire? That's the plan. The Claire Bennett. Yes. The woman who tried to steal your biggest client last year? She didn't steal him. He chose her. Daniel stared at me. You've lost your mind. Maybe. This isn't a business contract, Ethan. It's marriage. I know. Do you love her? No. Does she love you? No. Then why? Because we both need something. Daniel shook his head. You're using marriage to escape Sophia. I thought that too. And I looked at him. Maybe I am. But I'm also choosing my own future. Daniel sighed. Just promise me one thing. What? Don't hurt yourself trying to prove you're over Sophia. I nodded. I promise. That evening, my mother reacted almost exactly as I expected. Ethan, this is too fast. I know. You were engaged yesterday. I know. And now you're getting married? Eventually. To Claire. Yes. She sat across from me and held my hand. Are you doing this because you love her? No. Then you're doing it because you're hurt. I looked down. Maybe. Son, marriage is not medicine. I know. Then don't use it like medicine. I squeezed her hand. I won't. Meanwhile, rumors reached Sophia. Daniel sent me a message. She heard. I typed back. How did she react? She laughed. I wasn't surprised. Later, I learned that Sophia had told Ryan. Ethan is only doing this to make me jealous. Ryan apparently agreed. Let him try, he had said. But something changed after that. Sophia started checking my social media. Mutual friends told me she kept asking questions. Is Ethan really engaged to Claire? Do they actually like each other? When did this happen? I didn't respond to any of it. Claire and I decided to make the announcement publicly. The moment our engagement appeared online, my phone exploded. Messages came from investors, reporters, competitors, and people I hadn't spoken to in years. Daniel called first. You two broke the internet. I laughed. What happened? Everyone is talking about the merger potential. What merger? Our companies together could become one of the strongest forces in the industry. I looked at Claire. She was reading the same reports. This is bigger than we expected, I said. She nodded. My family is going to panic. Why? Because they wanted control. Now they may have to negotiate. I smiled. So our fake marriage just became useful. Claire looked at me. Don't call it fake in public. Right. She stepped closer. Remember our rules. No affection. No control. No questions about the past. And no falling in love. I nodded. Exactly. My phone buzzed again. Sophia. I opened the message. Congratulations, Ethan. I stared at those two words. For the first time, I didn't wonder what she was feeling. I wondered what I wanted. And the answer surprised me. I wanted my life back. I showed Claire the message. Do you want to answer? No. Why not? Because she doesn't get to decide whether I'm happy anymore. Claire smiled slightly. That sounds like progress. Don't sound so surprised. I am. We both laughed. For a moment, the arrangement felt almost normal. Then Claire's phone rang. My grandfather, she said. She answered. Yes. I could hear his angry voice through the speaker. You cannot announce an engagement without telling the family. Claire's expression hardened. I can, and I did. He demanded. Who is Ethan Carter to you? Claire looked directly at me. My future husband. Her grandfather went silent. My fake marriage starts feeling real. Sophia asked to meet me 2 days after our engagement announcement. I agreed because I wanted one final conversation. She arrived at the cafe looking annoyed. You didn't call me. I didn't have anything to say. You're engaged. Yes. To Claire. Yes. She stared at me. You're supposed to apologize. For what? For hurting me. I almost laughed. You ended our relationship, Sophia. I know, but you could have handled this differently. You chose Ryan. That doesn't mean I stopped caring about you. I looked at her calmly. You made your choice. I made mine. Her expression changed. You're not even angry. I was. And now I'm moving forward. She shook her head. You're doing this to make me jealous. No. You expect me to believe that? I don't care what you believe. She leaned forward. Ethan, 5 years can't disappear overnight. They didn't. Then come back. I stared at her. No. She looked shocked. You don't mean that. I do. Before she could answer, Claire walked into the cafe. Sophia turned toward her. You followed him? Claire sat beside me. No. He invited me. I hadn't, but I didn't correct her. Claire looked at Sophia. Is there a problem? Sophia frowned. This is between Ethan and me. Claire's voice remained calm. Not anymore. Sophia looked at me. Seriously? I nodded. Claire continued. Ethan isn't available for emotional games anymore. Sophia stood. You think you're better than me? No. Claire smiled slightly. I just know what I want. Sophia left without another word. I watched the door close. Claire looked at me. You okay? Yes. You're lying. Maybe a little. She pushed a cup toward me. Drink. I smiled. You're surprisingly bossy. And you're surprisingly obedient. Don't get used to it. Our fake engagement changed things after that. We started working together. At first, we argued about everything. You're presenting the wrong numbers, Claire said. They're accurate. They're confusing. Then explain them better. She stared at me. You're impossible. You married an impossible man. We aren't married yet. Give it time. She laughed. Our strengths were different, but they fit. I understood investors. Claire understood people. During one difficult meeting, an investor threatened to withdraw. This partnership doesn't convince me, he said. I answered, then let me show you why it should. Claire immediately added, and I'll show you how we plan to protect your investment. We worked together for nearly an hour. When the investor finally agreed, Claire looked at me. That was good. Only good. Don't become arrogant. Too late. She rolled her eyes. A week later, she returned the favor. A business relationship connected to Marcus had collapsed. I had tried everything. Claire looked at the file. You're approaching this emotionally. Because Marcus is involved. Exactly. That's why you shouldn't handle it alone. She made one phone call. The next morning, the client agreed to meet. I stared at her. How did you do that? I listened. I listened too. No. You argued. I sighed. Fine. You win. I usually do. We both laughed. For the first time in years, I made decisions without wondering what Sophia would think. I didn't check my phone hoping for her message. I didn't change plans because she might disapprove. I simply lived. Claire noticed. You're different. I looked up from my laptop. How? You don't look at your phone every 5 minutes anymore. I used to. Constantly. I smiled. Maybe I'm getting better. You are. That night, we sat in the living room of the apartment we were temporarily sharing for appearances. Claire noticed a photograph on my desk. She picked it up. It was Sophia. Claire didn't say anything for several seconds. Why do you still keep this? I took the photograph from her. Because I can't throw it away. Why? I stared at the picture. Because if I throw it away, it feels like 5 years meant nothing. Claire sat beside me. Who told you that? No one. Then don't believe it. I looked at her. She continued. Memories don't become worthless because people change. I remained silent. You loved her, Claire said. That was real. Even if it ended badly. Especially then. I looked down at the photograph. I don't know how to let go. You don't have to force it. What should I do? Keep the memory. Just stop living inside it. Her words stayed with me. I placed the photograph inside a drawer. Not the trash. Not on my desk. Just somewhere behind me. Claire smiled. That's progress. Maybe. She stood. Come on. Where? We have an engagement party tomorrow. I groaned. I hate parties. You hate everything. Not everything. She looked back. What don't you hate? I thought for a moment. Working with you. Claire smiled. Careful, Ethan. Why? That almost sounded sincere. I laughed. Don't worry. I'm still your rival. She walked away. Good. I watched her disappear down the hallway. For the first time, I realized something. Our marriage had started as a plan. The rivalry becomes a war. I knew something was wrong when Lucas walked into my office without knocking. We lost the Henderson contract. I looked up. What? The board confirmed it this morning. To Ryan? Lucas nodded. I leaned back. How? That's what I'm trying to find out. I stared at the report in front of me. We were the stronger bid. I know. Then someone changed the game. Lucas lowered his voice. Ryan. My hands tightened around the report. Of course. By noon, the news was everywhere. Ryan's company had won the contract, and Marcus was openly celebrating it. Then Sophia made things worse. A mutual friend sent me a recording of her saying, Ethan needs to accept reality. His company is failing because he refuses to move on. I listened once. Then I turned the recording off. Claire walked into my office. You heard it? Yes. How are you feeling? Angry. Good. I looked at her. Good. Anger is normal. What you do with it matters. I opened a file. I can destroy Ryan. Claire stopped. What do you mean? I have information about his family's business. Enough to cause serious damage. She stared at me. Ethan, don't. Why not? Because revenge isn't justice. He attacked my company. Then prove it. I stood. You sound like Lucas. Maybe Lucas is right. Lucas entered at that moment. I usually am. Lucas placed another file on my desk. There are employees at Ryan's company who had nothing to do with this. I knew what he meant. If I expose his family without proof, investors could panic. And workers could lose everything. Lucas said. I sat down again. Claire folded her arms. Then investigate how he won the contract. I looked at her. And if I find fraud, take it to the law. I hated how reasonable she sounded. Fine. I investigated every step of the deal. The more I found, the stranger it became. Ryan had contacted people connected to the client before the official bidding process. But I needed proof. Then I received an unexpected message. Can we meet? The sender was Emma Blake, Ryan's cousin. I knew enough about her to understand why that message mattered. We met in a restaurant. Emma sat across from me. I shouldn't be here. Then why are you? Because Ryan is going too far. She placed an envelope on the table. What is this? Copies of emails, payment records, and meeting notes. I opened the envelope. My heart started beating faster. These are genuine? Yes. Where did you get them? I have access to family records. I looked at her. What did Ryan do? He used our family's influence to manipulate several deals. Including mine? She nodded. He pressured contacts, promised favors, and made sure certain competitors never got a fair chance. I closed the folder. Why help me? Emma looked down. Because I don't want my family business built on lies. Do you know what happens if this becomes public? Yes. Your family could be ruined. She swallowed. That is why I'm warning you. I studied her face. You're asking me not to expose him. No. She looked directly at me. I'm asking you to understand what exposing him could cost. I returned to the office and showed everything to Claire and Lucas. Claire read the documents. This is serious. Lucas nodded. If this is verified, there are legal consequences. I looked at them. I could release everything tonight. Claire shook her head. And become exactly what Ryan expects. What does that mean? He wants you angry. Lucas added. If you act emotionally, he can call you vindictive. I hated hearing that. Sophia already thought I was bitter. I looked at the evidence again. I don't want to become the man she thinks I am. Claire's expression softened. Then don't. I contacted an attorney. We submitted the evidence through the proper channels and requested an investigation. It took longer than revenge would have. It was clean. Days later, investigators contacted the company involved in the contract. Questions began spreading. Ryan stopped smiling. Marcus stopped praising him. Sophia called me. You did this. I answered calmly. No. I reported what I found. You're trying to destroy Ryan. No. Then why? Because I won't let someone manipulate my company. She went quiet. You've changed. Yes. Claire changed you. I looked toward Claire, who was working across the room. No. I changed myself. I ended the call. Lucas smiled. That's the right answer. Claire closed her laptop. You know what I'm proud of? What? You had the power to hurt Ryan. I waited. You chose not to. I looked at the evidence on my desk. I wanted justice. And I still do. She nodded. Then keep choosing it. For the first time, I understood the difference. Revenge would have made me feel powerful. Justice could protect me for years. I picked up the phone and called our lawyer. Let's make sure everything is done properly. Claire smiled. I smiled back. The war had begun. The truth behind Sophia's betrayal. I met Sophia outside her office after learning about Ryan's promises. She looked surprised. Ethan, why are you here? I want the truth. About what? Ryan. Her expression changed. What did you hear? That he promised you a position in his family company. She looked away. So it's true. Yes. For how long? She sighed. Months. I stared at her. Months. Ethan, please. You were planning to leave me while we were still together? I wasn't sure. But you were thinking about it. Yes. I felt my chest tighten. Why didn't you tell me? Because I thought you would always be there. I laughed bitterly. That was your reason? I believed you would never leave me. So you thought choosing Ryan was safe. She lowered her head. He offered me a powerful position. He said I could help run the company. He promised me a future you couldn't give me. I stared at her. All those years, and you measured our future by a job title? It wasn't only that. Then what was it? Sophia looked at me. I wanted more. I nodded slowly. At least you're honest now. I'm sorry. I expected to feel rage. Instead, I felt tired. Did you ever love me? Yes. Then why wasn't that enough? I don't know. I looked toward the street. I do. She waited. You stopped seeing me as someone you loved. You started seeing me as someone who would always wait. Her eyes filled with tears. Ethan. No. I need to say this. I turned back toward her. You didn't just choose Ryan. You assumed I would remain available while you tested another future. She whispered. I thought you would understand. I understood everything when you left me. At that moment, I noticed Claire standing across the street. She had clearly seen enough. Our eyes met. She didn't interrupt. She simply nodded and walked away. I turned back to Sophia. You should go. Are you angry? I was. And now? Now I feel free. Sophia wiped her eyes. Is your marriage to Claire real? I hesitated. It started as a contract. Her face changed. So you don't love her? That isn't what I said. Then you could cancel it. I shook my head. Why? Because you could come back to me. I looked at her for a long moment. Do you really want me back? Yes. Or do you hate losing me? She couldn't answer. I already knew. Sophia stepped closer. Please, Ethan. Cancel the engagement. No. Her voice cracked. You don't even want to try? No. Why? Because my life has become peaceful since you left it. She covered her mouth. I never wanted to hurt you. But you did. I can fix it. No. Ethan, please. I shook my head. You had 5 years to choose me. She began crying. I didn't feel victorious. I felt sad. Not because I wanted her back. Because I finally understood that the woman I had loved was never the person I had imagined. She whispered, was I really that easy to replace? No. She looked up. You weren't replaced. Then what happened? You became part of my past. She stared at me. I took a breath. You did not lose me when I chose Claire. Her tears fell silently. You lost me when you decided I would always wait. She closed her eyes. I walked away. When I returned to the office, Claire was sitting by the window. She didn't ask what happened. I appreciated that. You heard enough? I said. Yes. You're not angry? No. Why? Because you needed to finish that conversation. I sat beside her. She asked me to cancel our engagement. Claire looked at me. And I said no. She was quiet. Are you sure? Yes. Even though our marriage started as a contract. Yes. Claire looked down. I don't want you staying with me because you're afraid of going back to her. I'm not. Then why? I thought about her question. Because I like my life now. She looked at me. Your life? Our life. The words surprised both of us. Claire slowly smiled. You realize you just broke one of our rules. Which one? No falling in love. I laughed. I didn't say that. You didn't have to. She looked away. For the first time, I noticed something different in her eyes. Something neither of us was ready to name. I leaned back. Claire. Yes. Are we still following the agreement? She thought for a moment. Most of it. And the rest. She smiled. We'll figure it out. I looked at her and realized I wasn't thinking about when my rival became my home. Ryan's problems became public 3 days later. His family's company had lost several major investments, and the deals Emma had warned me about were now under investigation. Marcus's company was dragged into the mess. I watched the news in silence. Claire stood beside me. This is worse than I expected. I nodded. People are going to lose their jobs. Claire looked at me. That's not your responsibility. I know. My phone rang. Sophia. I answered. Ethan. Yes. Can we meet? I don't think that's a good idea. Please. I agreed. She arrived looking exhausted. Ryan lied to me. I said nothing. He promised me everything. And you believed him. I thought he was going to give me a future. I looked at her. He gave you promises. I know. What do you want from me? She lowered her eyes. I thought you might help. I shook my head. I can't rescue you from choices you made. I know. Her voice broke. I just don't know what to do. Then start by accepting what happened. She nodded slowly. I understand. After she left, I received a call from one of Marcus's managers. Mr. Carter, several employees may lose their jobs. How many? Nearly 40. I stood immediately. Send me the information. Claire heard me. What are you doing? Trying to help. Why? Because innocent people shouldn't suffer for their boss's mistakes. She frowned. Those employees work for Marcus. I know. And Sophia is Marcus's daughter. I know that too. Claire crossed her arms. Ethan, you're risking our company for people connected to her. I am not helping Sophia. Then why does it feel like you are? I stared at her. Because you don't trust me. That isn't true. It is. Her voice rose. You still don't understand what this could cost us. I understand perfectly. Then stop. No. Claire went silent. I continued. Helping people is not the same as loving Sophia. That isn't what I meant. Then what did you mean? She looked away. I don't want to watch you destroy everything we've built because you feel guilty. I don't feel guilty. Then why? I stepped closer. Because I know what it feels like to lose everything because someone else made a decision. She stared at me. You're different now. Yes. Sometimes I don't know what you're going to do. I softened. Claire. She shook her head. You don't understand. Then tell me. She took a breath. I'm afraid. I froze. Of what? That you'll eventually go back. Back where? To Sophia. To your old life. To the man you were before me. I didn't know what to say. Claire continued. Our agreement was supposed to be temporary. I told myself I could handle it. She looked at me. But somewhere along the way, I stopped thinking about the contract. My heart started beating faster. What are you saying? I don't know. She laughed sadly. I hate that I don't know. I stepped closer. I can't promise what the future holds. She looked down. But I can promise one thing. What? I am not going back. Her eyes met mine. Are you sure? Yes. Even if Sophia changes? Yes. Even if she apologizes? Yes. Even if she says she still loves you? I nodded. Yes. Claire looked relieved, but she tried to hide it. You're very stubborn. You already knew that. She smiled. I did. I reached for her hand. She didn't pull away. For several seconds, we stood quietly. There was no contract between us in that moment. No business strategy. No rivalry. Just two people who had started with nothing but an agreement and somehow found something neither of us expected. Claire whispered, when did this change? I don't know. Neither do I. I squeezed her hand. Maybe it doesn't matter. She leaned her head against my shoulder. I stayed still. For years, I had believed home was a person who promised never to leave. Now I understood something different. Home could be the place where I no longer had to pretend I was okay. The next morning, Claire helped me arrange temporary support for the employees affected by the collapse. We did not save Marcus's company. We did not save Ryan. We simply helped people survive the damage. Later, Sophia sent me a message. Thank you for helping them. I stared at it. Then I replied. They deserved help. Nothing more. I put my phone away. Claire watched me. You didn't ask how Sophia was. No. You really have changed. I smiled. So have you. She raised an eyebrow. Me? You used to think helping people was weakness. I still do. I laughed. Liar. She smiled. Then she took my hand again. This time, neither of us needed an agreement to explain why. Something had changed between us. Claire found the changed contract on a Thursday evening. I knew because she walked into my office holding the papers like they had personally offended her. Explain this. I looked up. That depends. Ethan. Fine. What did I do? She dropped the contract onto my desk. You removed the exit clause. I stared at it. Yes. Claire crossed her arms. You secretly changed our agreement? I did. The clause that allowed either of us to walk away after 1 year. Yes. Why? I closed my laptop. Sit down. I don't want to sit down. Claire. She sat anyway. I took a slow breath. When we signed this, I thought rules would protect me. From Sophia? From everyone. Claire's expression softened. So why change the clause? Because somewhere along the way, I stopped seeing this marriage as an arrangement. She became very still. I continued. At first, you were my rival. I'm still your rival. Technically. She almost smiled. Go on. You challenged me when everyone else told me what I wanted to hear. That's because you're usually wrong. Thank you. You're welcome. I looked at her. You helped me when you didn't have to. Ethan, you gave me space when I needed it. You stood beside me when I didn't know how to stand alone. Claire looked down. So you removed my right to leave? My face changed immediately. No. She looked up. What? I removed the clause because I didn't want our future decided by a deadline. Her anger faded. I would never trap you, Claire. Then what are you saying? I'm saying I want to stay. Silence filled the room. Claire whispered, Are you serious? Yes. About a real future? I stood. I think I have been serious for longer than I realized. She stared at me. And if I say no, then I respect it. Just like that. Yes. Her eyes filled with emotion. You make everything difficult. I've heard that before. Before she could answer, the door opened. Sophia stood there. Claire looked at me. Do you want me to leave? No. Sophia heard me. Her face fell slightly. I won't stay long. I nodded. What do you want? She looked at Claire, then at me. To apologize. You already did. Not like this. I waited. Sophia took a breath. I blamed everyone except myself. Neither Claire nor I interrupted. I thought money and status would make me happy. Ryan promised me a life I thought I deserved. She looked down. And I treated your love like something permanent. My chest felt calm. Not empty. Not angry. Simply calm. I know. Sophia looked at me with tears in her eyes. I was wrong. Yes. I hurt you. Yes. I betrayed everything we built. I remained silent. She continued. I don't have an excuse anymore. For the first time, I believed her. She wasn't trying to blame Ryan. She wasn't blaming Marcus. She was finally accepting responsibility. Sophia looked directly at me. Choose me again. Claire went still beside me. Sophia's voice shook. Please, Ethan. I know I don't deserve another chance, but I'm asking anyway. I looked at the woman I had once planned to marry. I remembered 5 years of memories. I remembered the night she introduced Ryan. I remembered every question that had kept me awake afterward. But those questions no longer controlled me. I shook my head gently. I forgive you. Sophia closed her eyes. Then come back. No. Her lips trembled. Why? Because forgiveness does not mean returning to the past. She started crying quietly. I didn't move toward her. Not because I wanted to punish her. Because there was nothing left to fix. You deserved better, she whispered. So did you. She looked confused. I continued. You deserve to become someone who could be happy without chasing another person's life. Sophia wiped her eyes. And you? I became someone who stopped waiting. She nodded slowly. I understand. This time, I believed her. She looked at Claire. Take care of him. Claire answered quietly. I will. Sophia gave me one final look. Goodbye, Ethan. Goodbye, Sophia. She walked away. I didn't chase her. I didn't watch the door for 5 minutes. I simply stood beside Claire. Claire finally asked, How do you feel? Free. She smiled. Good. Later that day, the investigation into Ryan reached its conclusion. His business deals had been built on fraud and manipulation. He would face the legal consequences. Marcus also suffered serious losses. But when he called me, his voice was different. I judged you badly. Yes, you did. I thought money proved a man's worth. It doesn't. He sighed. I was wrong about you. I looked at Claire. She was waiting across the room. I know. Marcus was silent. Then he asked, Can you forgive me? Yes. Will you return to this family? I smiled slightly. No. He understood. When I ended the call, Claire walked toward me. So I think we need a new contract. She raised an eyebrow. I thought you hated contracts. I hate temporary ones. Her eyes widened. I smiled. This one should be permanent. Claire stepped closer. Are you proposing? Maybe. You're terrible at romance. I know. She laughed. Then she took my hand. Good thing I didn't choose you for romance. I looked at her. Then why did you choose me? She smiled. Because somewhere along the way, my rival became my partner. I chose her. I sat beside Claire on the balcony, watching the city lights. She looked at me. Are you happy? I smiled. Yes. Because Sophia is gone? No. Then why? I took her hand. Because I'm finally living my own life. Claire squeezed my fingers. I need to tell you something. What? I don't want our marriage to be a revenge story. She looked surprised. Neither do I. I want it to be the beginning of my real life. Claire smiled. Then let's make it real. We rebuilt our companies together. But the numbers weren't the most important part. Trust was. We learned when to speak, when to listen, and when to give each other space. Daniel noticed first. You know what's funny? What? The man who spent 5 years chasing Sophia is now terrified of disappointing Claire. I frowned. I'm not terrified. Claire looked at me. I immediately corrected myself. Okay, maybe a little. Daniel laughed. My mother noticed the change too. One evening, she hugged me. I've never seen you this peaceful. I think I finally stopped trying to earn someone's love. She smiled. I'm proud of you. Marcus eventually came to our office. I owe you an apology. I nodded. You do. I chose status over character. You did. I can't change the past. No. But I can make better choices now. I shook his hand. I accept your apology. Marcus looked relieved. Thank you. But accepting it doesn't mean pretending nothing happened. I understand. Sophia left the city soon after. I heard she had started rebuilding her life. She stopped asking friends about me. She stopped calling. For the first time, she wasn't waiting for me to save her. I was glad. Not because I wanted her to suffer. Because she had finally started choosing herself. Months passed. Then Claire and I held a small wedding. There were no reporters. No business deals. No dramatic announcements. Only the people who had stayed when everything fell apart. Daniel stood beside me. My mother cried. Claire walked toward me, smiling. I looked at her and remembered the woman who had once been my greatest rival. The woman who had offered me a marriage agreement. The woman who had helped me stand again when I thought I had lost everything. She reached me. You're staring. I know. Why? I'm remembering how crazy this started. She smiled. You almost refused. I should have been smarter. You're lucky I gave you another chance. I laughed. Claire, technically, I proposed the arrangement. Don't ruin the moment. I took her hands. I love you. I love you too. The ceremony began. As I looked into her eyes, I finally understood something. I didn't win because Sophia regretted leaving me. I didn't win because Ryan failed. I didn't win because Marcus changed his opinion. I won because I stopped measuring my worth by whether someone chose me. For 5 years, I had chased Sophia because I thought losing her meant losing myself. It took losing her to understand that I had already lost myself long before that. Claire didn't save me. She stood beside me while I learned how to save myself. And I didn't marry my rival because Sophia rejected me. I married Claire because, after losing myself for someone else, I finally learned how to choose someone who chose me too. When I kissed my bride, I didn't think about the past. I looked at the woman beside me. My partner. My home.